Are y'all ready for this? Bum ba dum bum ba dum ba dum bum bum. Hey, bum ba dum ba dum bum. Oh, bum ba dum ba dum bum. Hey, bum ba dum. Oh. Planet coaster time. I think it's time we actually build some coasters. Guys, honestly, the next few episodes, I'm about to go crazy on y'all. The craziest I've been in any of my Planet Coaster series. We're just gonna build some coasters for a bit, and then I'm gonna decorate later, yeah? In the next several episodes, we're gonna be building so many coasters onto the coaster pit, y'all not even gonna know what hit ya. And then we're probably gonna have to spend like 10 episodes after that just decorating. But it's okay, I just want to build some coasters and just really get this thing popping. So today we're resuming the mine train coaster that we started building in the last episode, which if you didn't watch that episode because it wasn't time-lapsey, I built a chain lift for this mine train coaster that's going to be going around the right wing of this theme park. Now mine trains are typically a family style of coaster. They don't have any inverted elements, no loops or rolls. They pretty much focus on fun drops, turns, helixes, and airtime. I'm making this first drop as crazy as I possibly can because I do want to have some excitement and intensity on this coaster. And I wanted it to go over the monorail so we could have it slide down the roof of the pizza pin. I think having this drop as the same incline as the pitch roof of the pizza pin just really blends in well together. And you know, the people eating their pizza need to hear some coaster rumbling so they eat faster and get back out into the park. We're gonna have it snake out into one larger airtime hill since we have some good speed. And then it's gonna leisurely curve around the backside of this wing. Overall, I love mine train coasters when done right. They're nice because they're usually pretty long rides. And I think it's because they're not tall. They typically stay close to the ground and just wrap around the terrain a lot of the time. And you know, they're not trying to do too much. They're just trying to make you move fast and just have a good time. And that's my main goal for this ride. I'm just trying to give them good speed and good airtime the whole way through so any age can enjoy this and not even get too scared. These rides aren't supposed to be scary. They're supposed to give that perfect amount of thrill. Now, this next element I think is going to be the main portion of this coaster that people enjoy. I'm creating a good triple down because going down while having increments of airtime just feels so much fun. We're building a solid triple down, and then we're going to have it boost back up and go through our tower, which I'll fix up in a moment for it not to intersect. And this whole entire section over here, I'm loving the way it's all feeling. I do think it needs a log flume though. At some point we need to add a log flume. Swerving through here, it's gonna be tight because I end up filling a lot of the space with this coaster and the scenery, but I think we could still squeeze it in and have it a part of this section. As we continue working on this coaster, let's talk about a comment question of the day. So to preface, there is a ride in Universal Studios named Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. It's a Harry Potter ride, and they spent $300 million building this ride. And the scenery is absolutely immaculate. My comment question for you guys is if you could have any ride built that has that large of a budget and that much detail for scenery, what would you want it themed after? What movie, video game, book, TV show, mythological creature? If you had $300 million to build any ride, what would you want it to be themed after? Give me one or two of your best responses in the comment section below, and we'll talk about it next episode. Next, I'm going into path destruction mode, so we can place this coaster where I want it, and we'll rebuild all these paths way more organized in a moment, because right now they were all just kind of placeholders. I'm trying to get this coaster to swerve down. It's gonna do an airtime over the path, and then it's gonna go through a cave past the waterfall, and then I'm gonna have it swerve through one of the rooms for the queue of the Steel Express, the RMC coaster we have, and then have it swerve back to the station. It's kind of tight, but we're gonna make it work. I'm uploading this video near Halloween time, so happy Halloween to everybody. One of my favorite holidays because it's just about having fun and dressing up and partying, which I'm all about that. I'm not much of a costume guy myself because It's a lot of effort and it's pretty expensive of a hobby in general, but I love seeing all the amazing costumes that everybody else puts together. And something else that's exciting is the dance studio that I work at is putting on a hip-hop Halloween event where it's like a short haunted house you go through, and it takes you into the main ballroom, which is decorated for Halloween. And they have an hour-long hip-hop Halloween show. And the concept is therapy for horror movie villains. So pretty much there's a bunch of people dressed up as horror movie villains, and they come in with some sort of dance piece that is themed after them, and then they go through some sort of skit related to who they are. And it's just cool. I'm really into hip hop and dance, and having it combined with other things I love is just cool for me. This year I'm only helping with set design and video of it, but I'm hoping to get more involved in some of the future ones because I'm all for this idea. But yeah, we have the coaster with a complete circuit, so now it's time to start cleaning stuff up. We need to make sure we're tunneling. I gotta build up some mountains because I do not plan for it to be this flat, and I need to reconnect all of these paths. First, let's start by connecting the sundial up. I want to have the queue to kind of go around this pond. I'm going to build some nice bridges and awnings. We're going to do some nice gardening and landscaping around this ride and around the pond because this is a nice looking area for sure. Very photogenic. And at the end of this episode, we will be riding the mine train, but I just wanted to make sure it was all touched up and that all the terraforming was done first. That way we had a good riding experience, and I want to make sure that all the kinks are ironed out, or as many of them as possible. I don't get it perfect, but I get it pretty dang good. I was trying to cover up as much of this wall as I could with the Rocky Mountain, because when you're in this section of the park, I really want you to feel like you're in the mountains. I was really trying to get as immersive as possible. And I know this is completely possible because if you go to Cars Land in Disneyland in California, the Cars ride at the end of Radiator Springs has so much fake rock. I know that that's like anything is possible when it comes to that stuff. So I'm building my mountains the way I want to, okay? I love how you can just build up the rocks around the coasters and then tunnel them out later. It's so fun and easy to do. Let's extend these paths and reconnect them. I think at the end of this wing, I want to have a large store that includes smaller stores, like a department area. This is one part I'm excited for, how this coaster runs through this room of the queue. I need to finish decorating that queue, but that was like the one detail I wanted to add was the coaster going through before I finished building the rest of the lines and rooms that were going to be involved with that. Because I'm going to add some details for the lines. I like detailed queues, okay? And you already know all the lines in the park are going to be long as heck because our rides are just too good. So if they're going to be waiting a long time, we got to make sure they're entertained. But we're coming through and we're carving our Play-Doh, sculpting it to perfection, making sure nothing overlaps because we don't want our guests to become unalived. All I'm trying to say is I want the guests to leave the park alive. That's it. Alright, now let's start smoothing out the tracks a tiny bit. The coaster is definitely starting to come together and form shape. There's going to be lots of decoration in order, of course. Today we're just going to focus mostly on trees and just getting all the paths and everything just looking somewhat normal and natural. And then we'll go through and add all the details in the future. And also, I'm really inspired to decorate things right now because I just got back from TwitchCon, which was in Las Vegas this year. And Las Vegas is just so inspiring from an architectural standpoint because that city is so unreal. Every single building you go into has so much attention to detail and so much scenery, and it's honestly, I love it. I can walk around there for hours upon hours upon hours and love every second of it. And then Vegas has always been impressive, but I feel like since everything shut down, they have stepped up their game. I think the ability to close everything down for a year and just work on stuff gave them the ability to make everything so much nicer because Vegas was so impressive. On top of that, there was so many LED screens in Vegas. I'm not sure when exactly we flipped over to this new phase where LED screens just take over everything. but there was entire buildings coated in LED screens. Pretty much the architecture said, let the video editors handle it. They'll edit it in post. We don't need to do any pre-production for the architecture. So they just clad all their buildings in LED screens and do whatever they want with it, which is a lot. They get crazy. I'm sure you all have seen videos of the Las Vegas sphere, the gigantic sphere in the middle of Las Vegas. But there's other buildings that are not spheres that have just as many LED screens as the sphere. I don't know when we made that shift as a society. I feel like within the past 3 to 4 years, suddenly everything became LED. Like that's it, LED everything. Which is kind of cool. I mean, you can do so much with it, so I'm kind of okay with it. It does feel like the future, but it's wild sometimes. In the future, we're just gonna replace all of our nature with LED screens. LED trees, LED flowers, LED everything. And it's gonna look like we're from the planet Pandora in Avatar, where everything is just glow in the dark. That sounds so cool. They also have this clear paneling you can put over windows now that apparently isn't even that expensive, and you can turn full windows into LED screens as well that can display anything. The future is now. I'm sure you guys realize this. We're building a virtual theme park right now, so I don't think you guys are naive to the future, but like, it's coming, and fast. But all these trees that we're placing are really bringing this together really quickly. The trees don't make up for all the small detail that we need to add, but they definitely make this area feel more filled out, and I think the natural element just kind of ties this country theme together. Because back in the country times, they like their trees and plants. They like to integrate them into their architecture. Not like these concrete cities nowadays where they block any semblance of nature out. I do think it's really cool though that modern architectures and city planners are trying to do their best to add as many trees and areas of greenery to the things that they're building. I love when I see those city plans where like all the rooftops are covered in grass and different type of foliage. I always think that looks beautiful. Okay, we're getting quick to doing our test ride. I'm gonna connect up the exit path real fast. Man, I am really just shoving some stuff back in here, aren't I? It's okay, I'm gonna make this station work. Sometimes it is a struggle building in these tight of areas, but we'll make it work for the best. At this point though, I think we have enough marked out, so let's go ahead and give it a test ride. This first cave is gonna be filled with a bunch of just country-ish themed stuff. We'll give it a really good beginning so people are impressed by the initial effort. I like how the chain lift is tucked back in the corner of the wing. When we get up to the top, this drop starts off a little bit slow, which I'm okay with. You're just at the very top of the treetops. Then it picks up its speed as it gets released from the chain lift. We have our big drop. Woo! Some fun airtime right here. We're gonna slide down the rooftop. Nice curve, another good airtime hill. Whoa, weightless feeling. Curve around. Then for the triple down. 1, 2, 3. When we pop up, I think this portion could be smoothed out a little bit. It kind of whips around too fast. We swerve around the sundial. And we have some amazing airtime hills in this very last section. This ending might be one of the most fun portions of the coaster. And then we have our work cut out for us for this ending portion, because the coaster is going to intertwine with the queue for the Steel Express, along with the queue for itself that we're going to have to fit back in here. But that being done, we are done building the coaster for today. But I have one last thing that I want to work on. We got to start setting up for the next coaster. So like I said, we're going to have an even higher platform up here, where we're going to have some more coasters that circle around the top of our coaster pit, which we're going to build next episode. I've already built these coasters myself, so I know what it's going to look like, and you guys are not going to want to miss it. I start taking some creative liberties for sure with some of our next builds. My goal within the next several episodes is to build, I think, 4 to 5 more coasters on top of what we just built today. So make sure to come through because we're about to spark some imagination up. We have our double paths leading up here. We have the craziest lookout of all time. It is a trek to get up here, almost like climbing a mountain. But once you get up here, you're gonna have some insane views of the coaster pit that are going to be in your memory banks forever. Even if you clear out your RAM, it's still gonna remain there. It's gonna be stuck in your hard drive like a virus. But yeah, it's looking a little bit empty. I think we need some more coasters, so come back next episode for some coaster creation. Also, if you can, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Helps us in the algorithm and getting this series out to more people. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Hope you all are building stuff on your own and getting creative yourself, because being creative is one of the best, healthiest outlets you can have in this world. And you just feel so fulfilled after creating art of any sort. So get out there, create, spread love, spread appreciation, gain knowledge, show respect, gain understanding, and build bridges over gaps that have not been built yet. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Take care.